Hey, my friends, I am so excited to take this little journey with you. I really appreciate you making the time and effort to be here. We're going to go along and I'm going to share some incredible things with you that have the power to totally transform your homeschool and your family. These are steps that anyone can use, and I think everyone should use to take your family from wherever you currently are to where you want to be, to bring back spark and life to your marriage, level up your parenting, your relationship with each of your children, your lifestyle, yourself, and just home education as a whole. This is going to be an awesome journey. So my name is Greg Denning. My wife and I, Rachel, we have 7 children, and we have been homeschooling since the very beginning when we adopted our first daughter, Kaya. We got her when she was 5 days old. And we just started reading voraciously and studying about education and family and realized, you know what? That's what we want. We want to homeschool. And we kind of, our dream kind of more from homeschooling to what we call world schooling. And we as a family, traveling is one of our dreams and our passion. So we were able to take our homeschooling to the next level and travel around the world. And so far as a family, we've been in somewhere around 35 countries together and have just created this fantastic lifestyle for ourselves and our family and for our homeschooling and the level of education we want to have. And so this picture here was recently, we were in Mexico as a family and hired a photographer to get some shots. There's our whole family there. Our youngest daughter was born in Germany a couple years ago, and our daughter before that was born in Costa Rica. Our son Atlas before that was born up in Alaska. So, and if you haven't connected with us yet, we're known online as World School Family, and you can connect with us on Instagram or Facebook. And our website is extraordinaryfamilylife.com. And so, like I was saying, here's a picture we got in Rome when we lived over in Europe for a couple of years. The picture on the right is in Budapest, Hungary, and we were so intentional and so deliberate about creating the life and the lifestyle we wanted as a family and the kind of educational opportunities we want. And once we discovered the secrets and the steps that I'm going to share with you in this video series, like it just opened these doors so that we could craft the educational journey and the family culture we wanted. And I want to share that with you, not so you necessarily travel like we have, unless you want to. If you want to travel, if that's part of your dream, then we'll help you help make that possible. But whatever that looks like for you, for some of you are like, nope, I don't want to do that. I just want to be at home with my kids and I want to make sure we're getting a world-class education. And these steps make that possible. I love it. So we were even recently able to RV. We've done all kinds of different traveling. We spent 9 months in an RV traveling around the Western United States and the Pacific Northwest, and just had an incredible journey last summer, and so fun. So I love being with homeschool parents. You are my favorite group of people because you love family, you love home life, you love education, and you're trying to be intentional and deliberate about life. I love this group. This is a group of the most intentional people that we can be around. And I love when I go to speak and meet with you and conferences and meetups around the world. Man, I just love being with you. You're my people. And so we want what I call the awesome sauce, right? We want to have, like, you love family and you're passionate about education and you want the best for your kids. Like you're intensely interested in maximizing your own unique potential and the unique potential of each of your children. And some of you are just tenacious about this and you want that, right? And so you are in the right place, my friends. And if you're ready to level up your family life and your home education and bring in some serious awesome sauce to that and level up no matter where you currently are, then you're in the right place. Now, some of you, I understand, might be feeling a little frustrated with how things are going, and you want to make some changes. You might have some big goals and dreams, but you felt kind of stuck or you've been procrastinating, and now you're ready. Like, this is your year. You're ready to level up. Some of you might be feeling like you're on the brink of a huge breakthrough for your family, and you're ready to take action. You need that next step, right? This is going to be your transformational year. Some of you might have lost the spark and the passion, the excitement in your marriage, or with homeschooling, right? You're just kind of like, I've lost the wonder and the awe of parenting and homeschooling, and you want to get that back. You want to bring back the life. Maybe you're longing for a special connection with your children, or particularly one of your children, and you're like, I need to make that relationship better. Some of you might be concerned, rightly so, about making sure your children are prepared and ready to launch into life as adults, and to not just survive, but to thrive and be really successful. And some of you might have gotten into kind of a humdrum routine and existence, and you're feeling a little bored and a little bit of blah, and you're like, hey, I need to spice things up. I need some excitement back in my life. I want to make this happen where I'm not just existing, but I'm really living. And if any of that is what you're going through, you are in the right place, because we're going to give you these simple steps that just work. They worked for us, and I'll tell you my story here in a minute. They worked for us. They've worked for all kinds of families all over the world that we've been able to share this with. And we're gonna help you out here. And if you watch the end of this recording today, I have a special gift for you. In fact, I'm going to give you a gift with every recording, because I want to help you. Like, I live for this stuff. I've studied voraciously and trained many people. I do a lot of coaching, a lot of mentoring, and I've worked with thousands of families for over 2 decades, and I know it works. And I want to help you. So I literally have an awesome free gift. It's a product that I sell, but I'm going to give it to you for free at the end of this recording, because I want to help you succeed and reach your dreams, so you get your family and your homeschool and your family education right where you want it to be. So now I know there's lots of distractions, and if you have a family full of kids like I do, then like there's all kinds of distractions and all kinds of different things going on. But if I can get you to just pay attention to these videos, just zone in, like sneak in the bathroom if you have to, like be here, because I don't want you to miss any crucial step. I'm going to share some things today that can literally transform your family. So if I can get your full attention, just zone in. I promise I'm going to give you some things that can really help your family. So our goal today, here's some cool pictures, you guys, from Mexico and Morocco and out in the Sahara Desert and in Guatemala and on the north coast of Africa and Switzerland and in Rome. Oh, all kinds of fun things. We've had so many cool adventures. But today I just want to give you 5 simple steps. And maybe not, over the series of these videos, I want to give you 5 simple steps. And my promise to you is, if done right, these can bring a serious transformation to help you level up yourself, your family culture, your family lifestyle, and your home education. And it can bring back more connection, more communication, more cooperation, and like level up the education without like the nagging and the dragging and the frustration and the irritation and like, why won't my kids listen? And why are they on board? And why are, we had this dream of how homeschooling is supposed to look. And we're like, why is it not like I dreamed? Why is this not working like I planned? I get up and it's supposed to just go like it's happening. And there's these little simple strategies and techniques that can transform that. And we can get rid of some of the chaos. When you have a lot of kids at home, there's going to be some chaos. But you can get rid of some of the chaos, but especially get rid of the contention and the irritation and the frustration and the feeling of desperation that comes along. And so we're going to help you identify any obstacles that might be in the way, any limiting mindsets or beliefs that might be holding you back from the life you want to live, and we're going to help you overcome them. And I want you to think about that. Like, would that make things better for you? If just with a couple adjustments, you could really nail the kind of homeschooling and family life you want, would that make a difference to you? And I think, of course, the answer is absolutely. But I am 100% confident, my friends, that if you and I don't implement these 5 steps really well, then we cannot get anywhere near our full potential. And we'll end up doing ourselves and our children a massive disservice, because they won't be prepared to reach their potential and really thrive when they become adults and eventually spouses and parents themselves raising their kids. And so we want to make life absolutely extraordinary. And imagine what your life would be like after you know how to significantly improve personal habits, marriage, parenting, and the family life you want. Right? Can you see that? Like, can you imagine like the absolute best scenario of the best family, the best place? Well, here's what I learned. I've been studying personal development and human performance and education for like 25 years now, voraciously. I average about a book a week and have for over a couple decades. I later was able to work with families all over the world and do personal mentoring and training. And I've worked with youth and I've worked with couples, and I still do every single day. I'm mentoring and I'm coaching. And I've learned that there's 5 non-negotiable pillars to an extraordinary family life and an extraordinary homeschool. And before I realized this, like I was limping along, and it felt like I was trying to run upstream in waist deep water. And you feel like you're just struggling and you're frustrated and irritated, and it almost feels hopeless at times. And I realized that I was doing all of that unnecessarily. And that with these 5 pillars, it just makes things happen the way they're supposed to happen. And things were hard and irritating, but it was only because I did not yet know how to utilize and build on these pillars. Okay, so I'm going to share the 5 pillars with you. And it's way more, of course you know this, it's way more than just the nice Instagram photos and the little, the little show we sometimes put on. But like, this is real, you guys. This is authentically real. Like, day in and day out, you wake up and you love life and you love how you're doing life, however that looks for you, right? Because we all have this different recipe, and that's awesome. Our recipe includes tons of travel and adventure, and whatever that looks like. But you can wake up and it's not the show, it's not the mask, it's not the facade, it's real. And when you have these 5 pillars in place, it feels amazing. But I have to give you a warning that I've learned through my own mistakes and through working with so many people and peoples. If we're off on one of these critical pillars and we try to build our life on the foundation, but one of the pillars is missing or broken, just like this picture, like, things start to crumble and fall apart, right? And I promise, like, your life can be totally transformed if we figure out each piece here. And these 5 steps, these 5 ingredients are critical. And if we neglect any of these, it can have serious and long-lasting, sometimes unalterable consequences for ourselves, for our marriage, and for our children. So a warning in place here. These things actually matter so much. So if you want some more awesome sauce in your life, like I'm sure you do, because you're such great people and you're already doing a great job and you're here because you want more, then we have to be more strategic. So even in a group like this, that's so good, so thoughtful, so considerate, so intentional about doing life and not living by default, right? Because there's 2 ways to do life. There's doing life by default. You just kind of go along with whatever's happening and you let life happen to you, or you do it deliberately. So one way is default, one way is deliberate. And if you're deliberate about life, then you're actually choosing. Instead of letting life happen to you, you're crafting your life. You're creating your life. You're steering and directing the way you want your life to go. And we simply have to be more strategic about it. And as we do that, we become more intentional than the masses. Like, it makes a huge difference. So I want to share something here. Like, whatever you do, like, pause, engage with me right now. If extraordinary is possible, then good is not enough. Let that sink in. If an extraordinary marriage, extraordinary parenting, extraordinary family life, extraordinary home education is possible, then good isn't enough, is it? It's not enough to, well, it's good. It's good education when extraordinary is possible. It's okay, things are going well. Because here's what happens. Most people work up to their problems. There's a problem, there's pain, so they work up to the problem and the pain, and then they stop. But what I want to share today and challenge you to do, because this matters so much, is I want you to work past the problem towards your potential. And when you work towards your potential, the problems take care of themselves. They get solved because you're working toward your potential, toward your own unique potential and each of your children's potential. And as that becomes your family culture and vision, the problems literally take care of themselves. And we experience a total transformation in our families. It's so awesome. Now, what I'm going to share in these 5 videos is critical, and it's going to be powerful, and it's going to help. It's going to make a difference. I'm going to give you action steps every time and give you resources to help you do it. But of course, it's all about mastery. We must seek mastery. And mastery takes a long time. It takes a lot of work. So if I were to get on here and be like, oh yeah, it's change your family quick and easy. It's like a get rich quick scheme. It's a lie. It takes work and effort, but oh, it's worth every bit of it. And that's what I want to ask you. Why does it matter? And so like a pause here for a minute. Why did you decide to start homeschooling? What was it? What was that critical piece? You're like, yeah, we have to do this for our family. What was it you really wanted? And then we have to ask ourselves, are you currently getting those results? Are you getting the results you really want? And some of you are like, yes, I got it. I wanted to avoid that. I wanted to create this. It's happening. And some of you are like, well, no, not yet. There's a piece missing. We had it. We're off, but something's off. We need to make a change. And then I want you to ask, why are you here right now? Why do you need this? In fact, even a better question, who needs you to know this? Who in your family desperately needs you to figure this stuff out? Isn't that powerful? And when we have that why today, then we have the power. So we're not just here to kind of chit chat in these videos. I'm going to challenge you. And if you'll let me, I'm going to invite you to really level up and go with it. Like really hit some things that make transformations. This matters so much. In a sense, you guys, your life and your children's lives are on the line. Because what we're going to talk about through this series can transform the way you do life and ultimately the way they do life. And we are here to get results. And maybe you've tried some things in the past. You bought some books, they're still on the shelf. You tried some courses, you got the curriculum, and it didn't get the results you wanted. But we're here today to make it happen. Oh, I love this stuff. I love it. Now, it would be totally lame for me to say, hey guys, here's the road you go toward your dream without giving you a warning about some of the potholes that you might encounter along the way. And so quickly, here are some of the reasons people fail. And I love this one. I love this one because I've fumbled and fell and on my face because of this one. The number one reason many people fail, it ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so, right? And I know I've done this, and you've probably experienced this too, where we're just so certain about something until we find out that we were wrong. And sometimes we have to unknow some things before we can know new things that can transform our lives. And you might have thought maybe a certain curriculum would solve all your problems, and it didn't. Or you might have thought, oh, this one method, this will work for every one of my kids. And then you quickly realize, well, it totally doesn't work for that kid, right? And you might be in a place where, and this has happened to me, where you actually get in your own way, where you're so confident, you think you're like, I got this, I got it figured out. I don't need that or that, I got this. And it just doesn't work. And very often we literally get in our own way and we fail because we know things that just ain't so. And so I want to invite you today as we're going through just to be open and curious and say, I've always thought this one thing, but I'm willing to consider other ideas. And maybe some of the things that we know for sure just aren't so, and we can unknow some things so we can learn new things that will transform our families. Another reason why many people fail is we have external obstacles. And it's easy to see these, right? You're driving down the road and you see this massive boulder in your way and you're like, there's no way we can go forward. There's this huge obstacle in the way. And we blame our circumstances. Maybe it's lack of money, a lack of resources. We blame other people. It's the spouse, it's the children, it's my in-law, it's my boss, it's the government, it's the economy, it's where I live. We say we don't have enough money, we don't have enough books, we don't have enough things. And what we can do is we can get caught in this trap of these external obstacles that become excuses. And I did this. I grew up in a broken home and family, and I ended up out on my own at an early age. And I really was facing some incredible external obstacles. I desperately wanted things to be better. I wanted different circumstances. And they weren't getting better, at least not as quickly as I wanted. And I didn't have any family around. I didn't have any friends because I was shy and timid. I was in a bad neighborhood. I had very little education. I had very little money, very few resources, no formal mentoring, no training on how to talk to people and how to prepare for marriage, how to prepare for parenting, how to get a great education, how to become wealthy and successful, right? I didn't have any of that. And I blamed all of those things until one day I realized, wait a minute. No, like all of those things are just excuses. And I can actually figure out how to solve all of those problems and get around them. What I quickly realized is another reason why people fail is it was the internal obstacles. Little did I understand back then that my internal obstacles were much more of a barrier than my external ones. Let that sink in. This is so powerful. And I love this graphic here. Self-doubt is just crushing them. And they are their own worst enemy. And I was super insecure. And I lacked confidence. And I lacked hope. And I felt desperate and depressed. And I doubted myself and my obvious lack of abilities. And I had no idea how to change my situation or myself. And what was happening on the inside was a far bigger barrier to my growth than what was happening outside. And once I realized that and I was able to make those shifts and say, oh, wait a minute, it's all right here and right here that's going to make the biggest difference. It literally removed all these barriers. And so many times the biggest obstacles in our lives are the barriers that were created in our own mind. And often as I've worked with people, sometimes they're holding on to something somebody said to them or the way they were brought up or being in part of a certain family, and they just hold on to that, or a negative experience that happened, and that becomes this barrier. And so people end up saying, I can't, far, far more than they believe I can. And here's what was interesting for me. I felt like a prisoner. I felt confined. I felt stuck. I felt trapped. I felt unable to do anything about it. You know what I realized? I was a prisoner, but I was sitting in a cage with the doors wide open. And the prison was something that I had created. I was my own jailer. And I was only stuck because of my current mindset at that time, my former mindset and beliefs and actions. And literally as long as I blamed other people and I made excuses around my circumstances, then I remained in the cage. And I remember when I finally realized that it was me, like, right? This amazing transformation. Like, wait, it's me. I was the catalyst for change in my life. And it struck me that nothing would get better in my life until I got better. And then when I finally became better, everything in my life would also get better. And for things to change, I must change. Right? And when that happened to me, and so you guys, I know what it feels like to hurt, to be desperate, to feel stuck, to feel trapped, to feel like I'm literally in a prison and to be hopeless and think there isn't anything I can do about it. And so I want you to identify what are your bars? What's the thing that's holding you back? In fact, right now, if you're not driving or something, if you can get a pen and paper, and I want you to write down, and you can pause the video, and I want you to write down, what are those bars? What are the things that are holding you back? Why is it that you haven't yet achieved the ideal family education or family? And maybe you have, maybe you're awesome. Maybe you're like, man, we're nailing it, right? Awesome. What are the barriers to the next level for you? And I want you to write on a piece of paper. Then I want you to hold that paper. What does it feel like to hold on to that? to be like this woman in this image, to be stuck, knowing you want to move forward, knowing you can see your vision of where you want to go. What does it feel like to be trapped behind those bars? Now I want you to let it go. I actually want you to take that piece of paper if you can and just tear it up, shred it, throw it away. What does that feel like now to let go of it? What does it feel like to literally open the gate and walk out towards your dreams and goals and the idea of family life you want? It's so freeing and so powerful. And you no longer have to let that be your problem or your excuse or your obstacle. And I'm going to give you the steps to make that be gone. Right? Some of you are just like, I don't know what to do. And I'm going to give you the steps to do that. And as I've helped, like literally worked with thousands of families, and I did it myself, to get rid of those obstacles and problems. And it doesn't have to be your problem anymore. And you can let it go and find the solution. But you have to commit. You have to ignite your creativity, and you have to want it. I mean, really, really want it. And I know you do. I've spoken with you all around the world. I know you want this. And you long for it, right? But if it's been a security blanket, sometimes we keep those bars as a security blanket. They're protecting us from what we're afraid of. We're afraid of the process. We're afraid of going all in. We're afraid of the risks. We're afraid of change. And we kind of keep those bars in place because we feel like they protect us, but they're actually preventing us from really living. Again, you guys, if extraordinary is possible, then good is not good enough. And so we're going to throw off those bars. We're going to get rid of the pains and the frustrations, and we're moving forward, right? And once Rachel and I learned how to do that, I learned how to do it myself, and I met her, and we were able to throw off those bars and open the cage. We were literally able, just with power and rocket fuel, able to run towards our dreams and our life and create the family culture and environment we wanted, and the family lifestyle, which of course includes tons of travel for us. There's Rachel and I in Jerusalem, which was just a dream, to go to Israel and Turkey. There's a picture on an iconic phone booth up in the moors in England, and castles all across Europe, and beautiful architecture in Germany, and then out in the Sahara Desert riding camels, and just have all these adventures. And once we were able to throw that off, and stop failing and stop struggling and start achieving our goals and dreams and making it happen in a real way, day in and day out. Now, obviously it's not perfect, right? We're not going for perfection. We're going for great. We're going for extraordinary. And to have that and experience, can you feel that? Can you see that with your family in a year from now, in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, watching your children just nail it? Right? You're feeling so excited and so alive. And if you can feel that, I hope you can feel that. I hope you can see that. And when we remove those barriers and make this happen, it's awesome. So are you ready? Number one, it was kind of a big build up there. I really wanted to set this up so we're set up to succeed. Number one is that you are the extra in extraordinary. And I love this idea. I love this whole concept, because we so often, we tear ourselves down and we say, oh, but I tried so hard and I just can't do it. And the negative voices in our heads are saying, well, no, you're not enough, right? You're not good enough. You're not this enough or that enough. And oh, you can't do it. And we compare ourselves to others, and we have this misinformed idea about what it looks like, because you're the hero in your own story. You are the hero in your family, right? You're the awesome mom or the awesome dad, and you are the extra and extraordinary. It's you. Now, it often looks like the image on the right here, where it's got a mess and the kids are everyone's chaotic and all this stuff. And that's okay. That's fine, right? Because true heroism often looks like that, right? And here's the cool part. Every single day, you and I are faced with a choice. And we can choose, on one side, we can choose to believe that we're stuck with the cards that we've been dealt, and that our life will be determined by our circumstances, by our past, by our upbringing, by our genetics, by our bad luck. We can choose to think that other people who are happy and successful, they're born that way, and they're just lucky, and we'll never be able to have all those good things in life, and they're just different, and we can't be like that. Or we can choose to believe that life will be exactly what we make of it. and that no matter what has happened or what your circumstances are, that you have the power to choose how you will respond and what you will do with what's in front of you. You can choose to take back control of your life and live it on your terms, to stop playing the victim. I've been teaching for years about how we go to victimville. We go to victimville in our heads and we play the victim, right? And we can stop playing the victim. We can take full responsibility for the quality and the outcomes of our life. Whoa, right? You are literally the hero or the heroine in your own story. Now, that seems like a harder choice, right? It seems a little bit intimidating, maybe scary. And it feels intimidating to take complete control of our lives, but isn't it far worse to play the victim and to let other people and situations dictate to you what happens in your life? And if you think that the secret ingredient to the life you want and the home education you want is anything else besides yourself, you literally give away your power to transform your life. And so I want you to take it back. Take back that power. Rise up, be the hero or the heroine of your story and your family, and remember that you are the extra. You have far more potential and power than you think you do, but you have to turn it on. In another training, I'll just mention it briefly here. In another training, I love to share that there's 4 levels in the story of being a hero. Sometimes we actually we're our own villain. Have you ever done things that just totally sabotage your success and happiness? Sometimes we're our own villain in our story. Sometimes we're just a bystander. We're sitting in the bleachers watching life happen to us, and we're not proactive or we're doing nothing. Other times we're just normal, right? We're just the normal Joe, and we're not the hero. We're not going after, we're not proactive. We're just kind of playing normal. We play small, and we don't rise up to the hero. We stay in the cage, right? Or we just kind of go along with the flow. We don't want to disrupt anything. And so we play normal. And again, good is not enough when extraordinary is possible. And then the fourth, of course, is to be the hero, to rise up and make things happen, to be a force for good in our families. Now, obviously, the struggle is real. I'm confident you are a super mom or a super dad, and you're doing a fantastic job. I know that. You're here. You're here watching this. You're still with me, like, boom, I love this. You're a great person, right? And you're doing a great job. You're a wife or a husband, a mother, a father, a homemaker, a homeschooler. You're a friend, you're a neighbor, you're a disciple, you're a sibling, you're a child, you're a philanthropist. You have all these things you're doing, and you're doing a good job. But we beat ourselves up. Like, nah, I get upset too easily, and I yell at my kids, and my house is a mess, and my toddler went out in public with a runny nose, right? And I only practiced piano for 30 minutes, and my son went to church with a stain on his shirt, and my laundry room's a disaster, and I'm a despicable human being, right? And we beat ourselves up. And we're like, I can't get my teen out of bed. And how do I get my toddler to stop interrupting a homeschooling? And my tween to stop teasing and being so dramatic? And how do I keep my house clean and my spouse happy and my children healthy? And how do I keep myself sane? And we've been conditioned through media, through movies and pictures and social media and books and comments from the neighbor and strange look from your mother-in-law and all these different things. We've been conditioned to think that we have to have everything picture perfect, and we're supposed to do this and supposed to do that. And we have all these misaligned expectations that aren't realistic and sometimes aren't even healthy at all. And they throw us off. And so we feel so overwhelmed and we feel guilty. We feel stressed. And yet when we come back to this space of, you know what? No, it's me. I'm the hero in my own story here in my family. And my wife, she's the heroine in our story, in our family. And each of our children is the hero in their own story. And sometimes it looks a little messy, like this picture, right? Sometimes it's a little chaotic, and that's okay. We'll drive ourselves crazy if we think that there's not going to be some chaos in trying to raise little people who are opinionated and strong-willed and have their own little mission and purpose in life. And our goal is to help them be the hero, right? And so we have all these social expectations. We don't quite know how to do it. And how many of you get frustrated with how things are going at home, but you're not quite sure what to do about it? Well, it's not your fault, right? It's not your fault. How many of you received extensive training right before you were married? I didn't. Which of you received like the complete guide to awesome sauce parenting just before your child was born? I didn't get that either, right? In fact, we had when we adopted Kaya, we had about 4 hours. They called my wife at 8 o'clock in the morning and said, come to the airport and pick her up at noon. We had 4 hours to prepare for parenthood. It was amazing. When did you have a class on responding peacefully and effectively when your children do seriously infuriating things? I didn't learn that one until I was years into parenting, right? And yet we've all been conditioned, like I mentioned, by TV and media and the neighbors and the in-laws and all these things to feel like we should be doing things perfectly. But the good news is, my friends, it's not your fault. And I'm going to give you those steps today, these simple steps that anyone can do and everyone should do, and that you have far more power and influence than you think you do, but it's not automatic. Your influence isn't automatic. And sometimes we think it should be. We're like, hey, I'm the parent here. And because I say so, and because of all the sleepless nights and the dirty diapers and all the sacrifice that we've been through, like, you should listen. But influence is not automatic. It's strategic. And here's what I love. Well, let me tell you a quick story. I saw an image like this as we were traveling the world, and I had not grown up near the ocean. And so I saw an image like this one day, and I was like, what happened? Like, all those boats are stuck in the mud. Oh, how did that happen? This is terrible. Oh. Like, what are they going to do? And I remember thinking, like, this is crazy. And then a few hours later, of course, the tide came in, and I was like, oh, duh. And there was this huge swing of the tide, and I learned a super valuable lesson. When the tide comes in, look at this picture. When the tide comes in, it lifts all boats. It raises everything. And that is absolutely true for your family and for your home education. You are the extra and extraordinary. You have the power and the potential and the influence to be the tide, to come in and raise all the boats. From health and fitness and mind and emotion and social and spiritual and financial, through you being the extra, you can come in and raise the boats. Now, some of you I know are like, this is feeling so intimidating and so overwhelming. And it starts with working on yourself, right? We've all been on an airplane. You remember the airplane, they're like, hey, if the oxygen mask ever drops, you put it on yourself first and then on your children. And I have 7 kids, so I'm on the airplane and we travel a lot. And I'm like, okay, how can I get masks on all these kids super fast if something were to happen? And again, like if I'm running around hustling and I'm putting masks on everybody else, what's going to happen to me? I'm going to run out of oxygen fast. And so part of being the extra and extraordinary is making sure that you are taking care of you. And that's not selfish, and it's not wrong, and it's not out of order, or it's not an unrealistic expectation to take care of you and make sure you have your mask on first so that you can be the extra and extraordinary. So you can have the energy, right? Almost energy that can't run out, right? Obviously it needs to be renewed, but like this endless source of energy to run your family and your homeschool, right? And I can show you how to do that and how to renew it, this renewable resource, so that you can be the extra, right? Oh, I love it. But we have to work on ourselves first. And I live by a philosophy that I have to work harder on myself than I work on anything else. And here's what I want to share with the imagery here. I love this. You take this pen, right? I'm putting it on my hand here. And let's say, that one side is you and the other side is your family. And if you cannot move, it's like choice and consequence. You cannot move one side without affecting the other. Now watch, if you're on this end and your personal growth and improvement and you're working on yourself, look what it's doing to the rest of the stick. Even the lowest end here is still rising. And so it works like that with your spouse too, and with your children. Like, well, they're not trying and it's up to them. It's not about them, it's about you. As you're the extra, as you raise up your end, it automatically lifts everything else. It's the tide. Now, some of you are like my daughter. And you're just like, I just need a break. You're driving me crazy, right? One day, this is Sage. She's 5. And when we were in Mexico recently, she was taking a super long shower. And I went in, I'm like, Sage, what's going on? Like, are you using soap? Are you washing up? What are you doing? And she just said, I'm having a nice, peaceful time with no one talking to me. And I was just busting out, loving it. I love it, right? And we all need that. We all need some peaceful time and quiet. And it's not the same as living a lame life story in the cage, right? It's taking the time to recover, to recuperate. Because my friends, you are not here to be average. You're here to be awesome. And in these 5 steps, we're going to give you the power, the keys, the tools, the mindsets to do this, right? But you have to have this fire in you. You have to want it. You have to light this fire that propels you upward, right? That otherwise you'll stop at every obstacle, every external obstacle and every internal obstacle. And sometimes this means more responsibility, more work, right? Yep. But we bring it on, right? It means growth. It means excitement. It means fulfillment. It means achieving the vision that you want and bringing on the awesome sauce, right? And if we want to be a bigger person, then we got to tackle bigger problems. And again, as we're pursuing our potential, please get that image in your mind. As you pursue your potential and not your problems will take care of yourself because you grow right past your problems. And in order for better results, if I want better results, I have to be a better me. And my story gets better. Every story, every book, every movie, every story gets better as the character gets better. And that's the same is true for you. Like you are the secret ingredient to the awesome sauce. You're the extra and extraordinary. And it is not dependent on your birth or your family or your genes, the genes that start with J or the genes that start with G. It's not dependent on your past. It's not dependent on your neighborhood or your childhood. It's not dependent on your income or your formal education. It's a choice. It's up to you to decide to be the hero in your own story. And once I had that aha, I was able to like draw the line in the sand, and everything in my life changed and transformed and got better. And I've been to apply that, and my wife and I worked on it as we've been able to apply it in our own family, our own home education, and then world schooling, and our dream lifestyle, and our family culture in every part of our lives. Right? And I know some of you feel like you're drowning, and people just keep handing you things to keep above the water. But what we're going to ask you to do, what we're going to share, actually, like, it gives you wings. It's not adding more to your plate. These aren't to-dos here that like crush you. They're ones that lift you up and build you. And this is when I discovered the power of a morning ritual. And I've been doing a morning ritual now for 22 years. And I rarely miss. And this is the thing that has totally transformed my life. Now, I know some of you are like, I can't do mornings. I have little kids. And especially for you moms who have new babies, and maybe you're pregnant, you're not sleeping well, you have a new baby, and you're nursing through the night. I totally understand. And you're going to have to adjust this as you can. I totally get it. Some of you are like, hey, I'm just in survival mode right now, and I get it. But as much as you possibly can, morning rituals transform my life. Now, we have 7 children. And I quickly realized that if I was going to get things done, these most important things, it had to get done in the morning. And so I do morning rituals because I have children. And these to-dos, actually, you look forward to them. This isn't adding to your list of like, oh, great, more things to do. These actually give me more energy, and they'll give you more energy, more clarity, more influence, more power, more direction, and more excitement, right? These are the daily tasks that you actually look forward to because of what they do for you and what they do to you. They give you wings to fly, okay? So in order to bring in this tide, right, we have to have a clear plan, and that's how you get that. And most people are living on default mode, like we talked about, default mode instead of deliberate mode. And so we got to shift away from the default mode, which is just self-sabotage. And they're putting unhealthy fuel in their bodies. They don't do enough breathing, enough movement. They have negative energy, negative thoughts, right? Negative emotions all day. But the morning rituals will give you the power to turn it on, to move your body, to get the good fuel in, to get great input in, because input determines output, to do affirmations and vision boards. You're like, wait, but what do I do and how do I do it? And here's my gift for you, my friends. I created a course called How to Totally Transform Your Life Before Breakfast that walks through an ideal like hour of power is what people have called it. It's morning ritual that when we start our days right, then our days go right. And if our days go right, our life goes right. And this is the way to start your day right. Even if you wake up late, if you didn't sleep that well, you can adjust your morning rituals, but here are the elements of what you need to have in your morning and how you need to do it, right? So it's the what and the how all lined out in an audio program with a PDF. You can go through the training and you can start implementing the pieces. And some pieces will adjust, right? Depending on the phase of your life, you're like, oh, I can't really fit that piece in. But you can do as much of them as you can and modify them as you need to with your family. But it's literally giving you the power and the strategy to be the hero of your own story, to be the extra in the extraordinary, right? And just really start moving forward, moving the needle and leveling up in your family life and your home education. So I thought the easiest way for me to deliver this gift is for you to type the word extra, because you're the extra and extraordinary, to 57838. Just get on your phone right now, type extra to 57838, and we'll send you this gift and a couple other awesome gifts that are going to blow you away. Text that in there. I'll give you this gift. This is going to unlock the power and potential. It's going to help you bring the tide and give you the tools you need and the strategies you need to be the extra and extraordinary. Because you, again, I want to emphasize this so much. You have far more power and influence and potential than you think you have. And this is just step one. We have 4 more. This is just step 1 to bringing a total transformation to your family. Now, the next steps, all about your marriage and just taking your marriage from wherever it is to extraordinary. And my wife will be joining me with that video. You do not want to miss it. We're going to give you some tools and strategies there that you've not heard anywhere else that'll blow you away and bring back the spark and the power now that with you, with your spouse, joined together, become an unstoppable force. So thanks for being here. We'll see you in the next video. Remember, awesome is always an option. It's always an option. No matter what's going on, awesome is always an option. Reach upward.